Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man. Wow. Welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Program where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Thanks for watching. Today I am doing Cabernet Franc. And before I start though, I want to do a little bit of a correction on my last video where I reviewed some Chardonnays. One of them was the Stag's Leap Wine Cellars Hands of Time Napa Valley Chardonnay 2013. Perhaps, hopefully you watched the episode. If not, go back and watch. Classic example of why it isn't always a good idea to taste your whites at room temperature. I taste this one, it tastes a little bit awkward. I think I gave it a C or C+. I put it in the fridge, chilled it down a little bit, tried it again, and it was much better. I believe firmly that winemakers, when they're making their wines, factor in that folks generally drink their wines chilled. Maybe not super cold, but at least slightly chilled. That wine definitely improved with a little bit of a chill on it. I'm just going to say I give it a B based on how it tasted after it was a little colder, not at room temperature. So I apologize to Stag's Leap Wine Cellars. Okay, I don't apologize. I'm just saying that you guys did a good job making your Chardonnay to drink with a little bit of a chill to it, maybe at around 45 to 50 degrees. It was delicious. So I gave it a B. Anyway, back to Cab Franc. Cabernet Franc is one of the parents of Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon comes from a cross between Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc. For those of you who didn't know that, I'm sure a lot of you already knew that. Now, Cab Franc is a very interesting wine. It is a wine of many faces. Playing with the cork, sorry. Yeah, playing with the corks, baby. Boom. So, Cabernet Franc from Chinon, Loire Valley, can be very herbal, almost like green salad, tomato stemmy wine. Very green on the palate. Some people love that. Some people don't like that. In fact, some people don't even know that Chinon is Cabernet Franc. So if you go to the store and you see a Chinon, you know you're drinking Cabernet Franc. Now, Washington State, I believe, does some great Cabernet Franc. California does a little bit of Cab Franc. But today I have one from Chinon and two from Washington. And so we're going to give them a try. We're going to start with the Chinon. When you're doing a tasting of wines, the idea is to go from driest to fruitiest in the order. I think I mentioned that before. The reason you do that is it helps your palate get to that point. If you drink a real fruity wine, then you go to a dry wine, it makes it super dry, whereas the opposite, a dry wine doesn't necessarily make a fruit wine fruitier that much, but it doesn't matter as much as going backwards. So we're going to start off with the 2010 Domaine Famille Rouet Chinon Cabernet Franc from the Loire Valley. It rolls in at $19. And that's one thing about Cabernet Franc, especially from Washington and Chinon. They tend to be just a little bit more expensive, although $19 is not bad. Let's give it a little rinse. Okay. I had a Chinon not too long ago, Cab Franc from the Loire Valley, France, and it was green. Now, sometimes I like that. Sometimes it gets excessive. I thought that one was a little excessive. Let's see what we get on the nose. Right off the bat, green bell pepper, asparagus, tomato stem, a little bit of mixed greens, a little minerality coming through like gravel. Get a little bit of tobacco leaf. A little red fruit coming through. I get some, currants. A bit of red cherries coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Definitely not as green as the last Cab Franc I had. A lot of cassis, cherries, cranberries coming through. A little bit of green, not, like I said, not as much. I get a little bit like blackberry leaves, a little tiny touch of tomato spin, green bell pepper coming through. Red flowers all day. I get a little bit of red licorice coming through, not the red vines red licorice, more like a natural red licorice. A little bit of the tobacco leaf coming through. A lot of minerality. I get a lot of like a very, well, not a lot, very mild crushed rock coming through on the finish. This is a nice Cab Franc for a Chinon. Now, I believe a lot of you will like this wine. The great thing about Cab Franc that I like, and you know, I know Cab Franc kind of, it sputters, it takes off, then it backs off, then it takes off, backs off. I don't think anybody's sure whether or not they like Cab Franc or not. I don't know if it'll ever be one of those great wines that, you know, that everybody's going to love. But this is a good example of a Chinon, $20. I like that wine. Good acidity. I love that about this wine. You're doing a barbecue, you're doing some barbecued ribs, barbecued chicken, because this is, you know, not super tannic. It's not heavy at all. You know, not like a Syrah or a Zinfandel can be. No, it's kind of actually on the lighter side, but very delicious. A little bit of that greenness. The barbecue sauce would offset that. I'd do this with barbecued chicken, barbecued ribs. It'd be great with those things. I'm gonna go A- on that. I think that's a really good wine for 19 bucks. Let's move on to the next one. Cougar Crest out of Walla Walla. You know, I have to tell you that I have a lot of fans in my area of Cougar Crest wines. 2008 Cabernet Franc, Walla Walla Valley. This rolls in at 38 bucks. Certainly not in the budget category. And Washington Cab Franc can go from super oaky to hardly any oak. It just depends on what style you like. I actually firmly believe that Cabernet Franc is one of those one of those grapes that can handle oak. And if you want a little mocha in your wine, I tell you that Cab Franc goes there big time when you start putting oak on it. So, again, I'm getting that kind of brambly, kind of leafy aromas on the nose. This one has a lot of coffee bean, like almost not the green coffee bean, it's actually roasted coffee bean. Get some currants coming through. A little blackberry, like really ripe blackberries. Entirely different. You got Old World, New World. New World is starting to show its face. Originally I got a little bit of more of that leafy element, but now the fruit is really sneaking through. Even get a little bit of chocolate on the nose, which is delicious. Some tobacco. Let's see what we get on the palate. What a difference. Whole new world here, baby. I get this baking spice, currants, dark cherries. Hardly any leafiness at all on this one. It has oak tannins on it for sure, but it's not over oaked. I think it's got just the right amount. Hopefully I'm right on that, guys, but you know, tobacco all day on the backside. It's got an interesting like beam of like cranberries. Like there's a brightness on the backbone of this wine that's really interesting. But this is delicious. I mean, this is one of those wines where like, okay, I spent 40 bucks. Is it worth $40? I would have to say yes, it is. I know for a lot of you out there that might be like, wow, 40 bucks. But you know, if you want a special wine, now this would stand up to prime rib. This would stand up to big ribeye steaks on the grill. Wow. You know, it does have a slight undertow, very slight, but it's there. You get a little bit of that blackberry stem, tomato stem, but it's not a prominent part of the flavor profile. It does tell you, hey, I'm Cabernet Franc, dude. Don't mess with me. But it's not as nearly as so as the Chinon from the Loire Valley. That is a great bottle of wine. I mean, that's a really good bottle of wine. 2008, what that tells me when I see 2008 on this label is that they don't sell a lot of Cab Franc. They like making it, they don't sell a lot of it, or they hold it back, which is always a possibility. They hold it back. The age on this is obviously, it's very seamless, very well made, good structure, nice balance. It's delicious. I'm going A on that one. Absolutely. Let's move on to the next one. Now I'm doing the Vindalak. I have no idea where I got this bottle. I think I got it from David Trainer. Thank you, David. I think he sent it to me in the mail. I can't remember. David Trainer is the sort of the media sales guy. He's a winemaker. He does all kinds of things. This is a Vindalak out of Chelan, Washington. It is the 100% Cabernet Franc Lemberger 2011 Cab Franc Dineen Vineyard, Columbia Valley. So it's a vineyard designate. This rolls in at $35. Again, not in your budget category. 35 bucks. 2011. Not an easy vintage for Washington State. Let's see what we get on the nose. Ooh, this one's got, yeah, it's got some, like, some intensity on the nose. This is like a potpourri of cherries and currants and plum and blackberry. A little bit of rose petal coming through. Definitely tobacco. Getting even a little bit of a like a sarsaparilla or root beer element coming through. Almost like a little bit of roasted meat in the background, which is interesting. Whenever I smell wine like this, I go, wow. I hope the palate lives up to the nose. Have you ever done that? You smell wine, oh, it smells so good, and then all of a sudden you drink it and you're like, wow, what a disappointment. Doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And I'm really hoping this one comes through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Two in a row, baby. Good intensity. Again, it has a nice brightness on the backside, like mouth watering. My mouth is watering right now. It's going like, it was really good. Currants, black plums, cherries. I mean, dark cherries. That root beer is just on the back side of this. You know, don't think Shasta root beer. It's that nice natural root beer flavoring that's coming through on the back end. Very intense, very layered. Just a hint of tomato stem on the back end. Again, telling you, look, I'm Cab Franc. Gotta have a little bit of green there. But the intensity of this fruit, the good acidity, the nice balance, the integration, all that stuff that wine guys say about wine is there. 35 bucks, again, rib steaks, prime rib, all day. This is a food wine, but it can be drunk by itself. Both the Cougar Crest and the Vindalak, excellent wine. Both of them are A wines. Absolutely. I can't go less than that. They are well-made wines. I don't even know if you can get your hands on this Deneen Vineyard. David Trainer, if you're watching on Twitter, let me know, is this available? I hope so. I hate doing episodes where you can't get the wine, but I looked on your website. I looked on the Vindalak website. 35 bucks, maybe low. I don't know. That's their barrel select. I couldn't find this one. But both, excellent job. Both A wines. The Chinon was excellent. Also, excellent episode. If you haven't tried Cab Franc, if you're kind of like, what is that? You might want to start out with a Washington Cab Franc, or maybe Jed Steele has one called Writer's Block that's pretty good. Go there first, then graduate to Chinon. Ask your wine steward if this is really green or not. If you don't want like tossed salad in your wine, be careful with Chinon. But if you like that profile, which I do from time to time, seek them out. Cab Franc, it's great stuff. Hey, cheers, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.